Hi there. Welcome back. I want to give you an update and also share with you about losing weight, and especially if you're over 60, and as I am. And I've had some pretty good success. I started this program, changing my life, about 6 weeks ago. I was 210 pounds. I'm 187 or 8 now. I've lost 20 some odd pounds over the course of the last 5 or 6 weeks, and a lot of it's just been perseverance, but a lot of it I had to go through a big learning process, and I'd like to share with you what worked, and some to give you some advice on how you might be able to go through what I've gone through and make some pretty significant changes in not a huge period of time. If you go back and look at some of my earlier videos, you'll see there's quite a difference in my face and my body, which I'll sometime shortly I'll start doing some shots outside. So again, my weight was 210 when I started this on May 19th. Today is June the 30th, 2020. The other byproduct of this was my blood pressure when I started this was 150 over 110, and I got a big kick out of this. I phoned a friend of mine today because I did my blood pressure at noon today. And my blood pressure was, what's perfect blood pressure? Well, my blood pressure was 120 over 80 with a heartbeat of 59. And this is after 6 weeks, basically. Okay, so what have I done? First of all, and I've said this before, one of the biggest things that made a difference was dropping alcohol. And for a number of reasons. Number one is I think it's had a big effect on my blood pressure. But also, I was never a big hard alcohol drinker. Maybe when I was younger, I used to drink rum and coke and stuff. But as I got older, my poison of choice was beer. And I'm a big beer fan, especially in nice hot sunny days like we have outside. And so what I would do is I like drinking beer and then go out with my friends and we go to the pub and sit around and drink beer. And it accumulates over time. But what really accumulated was the fat around my waist. So on May 19th, I just said that was it. I'd had enough for a whole pile of reasons. And to be honest with you, I quit once before for 5 years. And I really loved not drinking, and I actually don't know why I went back to it. But every day that I don't drink, it's been a better thing. So that and my blood pressure, as I mentioned, went back to pretty well normal. And so I started losing pounds, and I think a lot of it was just the alcohol. So I quit the alcohol, my weight started to drop. I got down from 110 to 105 to 108 and sort of hung in around 200. And then realized I'm going to have to do a lot more to this. And I started walking, and I was walking 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day. So I got up to about 15,000, 20,000 steps a day. I'd walk up. There's a golf course close by here, and even though I've driven by it a million times, Langara and Vancouver, British Columbia, I didn't realize there was actually a really nice path that went around the outside of this little golf course. So I started walking that 2 or 3 times and then walking to it and going around it a couple times and stuff. But then I needed something else, and I started looking for other options. What else could I do to help me expedite this process of getting rid of all this excess fat and extra weight that I was carrying? And I stumbled across by accident a couple of people, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes, and a thing called intermittent fasting. Now, in some ways, I guess we all do intermittent fasting is because we sleep and we don't eat for a long time. But Western diet, you probably as well. You get up in the morning, you have coffee, something to eat, and you snack in the morning, and then you have lunch, and you snack in the afternoon, and then you have dinner, and then maybe you have something to eat before you go to bed. And so your window of not eating really goes from say 9, 10 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning, so not even 12 hours. The process about intermittent fasting is lengthening that window that you don't eat. And so while my original window was, as I mentioned, 8, 10 hours, I started lengthening that window. And one of the great things about intermittent fasting is you can create it to whatever window you want. And so I slowly, I went from 10 till 6, and then I went from noon till 6. And eventually, over the last few weeks, I got down to a 4 hour window that I was only eating between 3 and 7 or 2 and 6. And so I had a 20-hour window where I wasn't eating. And that really started to help. And I started to drop pounds. And if you want, I'll put a couple of links down here of a couple of people that I really suggest you, if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting. Thomas DeLorean and Dr. Steck Eckhart. These two guys have got some great information out there to help you to lose weight. And it helped me a lot. But then I got down to about 195 and I plateaued again. And I would drop sort of, I'd eat in the morning or I'd eat in my window and I stayed there. And I stayed there for like 5 or 6 days. And I went, well, what else can I add to this? So I went back to the same two guys and I started looking into keto diet. And which was, I said there was 3 stages I went. First was introducing intermittent fasting and increasing the window of how long it was that I didn't eat. And that gave my body more opportunity to burn fat. Next, I went into keto diet. Now, what keto diet predominantly is getting rid of carbs and changing how your body gets its energy. Originally, what we're designed is burn sugar and carbohydrates. And now with the Western diet, we're a lot into refined carbohydrates and breads and potatoes and rice, and especially sugars, artificial sugar or sugar that's been added over and over to our diet because the food companies realize we can get really quickly addicted to sugar. So more and more people are eating lots and we eat way too much sugar. That's the one thing I really got was we eat, especially in Western society, which is why a lot of people are fat, is we consume way too many carbohydrates, especially complex carbohydrates, and especially too much sugar. So I cut that out, and the keto diet's mainly a lot of meat and vegetables, and really respecting the intermittent fasting and eating things that won't pull you out of that fast. And what it does is it changes our focus from burning sugars to burning fat. And so if you want to lose weight, I'll tell you, if all your body focuses on burning sugars through carbohydrates, you don't lose as much weight and you sure don't lose it very fast. But if you flip that over and you flip it over by doing intermittent fasting and changing your diet, getting rid of carbohydrates, getting rid of sugars, and getting rid of insulin burning and glucose and all the things that create energy that way, and flip over to burning fat, the pounds start to come off. And that's what happened for me. Once I flipped over to keto diet, dumped carbohydrates, got rid of the bread, got rid of the cookies, got rid of the sugar, and then started to learn, okay, what's going to take me out of a fast? Now, which I'll talk about in a second, because it really then comes down to what am I eating or consuming when I'm not in the middle of my fast. And that was something else. A lot of the last 6 weeks have really been about learning about what can I do for a diet? What is it what's going to help me to lose weight? And so once I got rid of the carbohydrates, the pounds started coming off again. I got down into below the low 190s. And then I started doing alternate day. I got stuck again. I hit another plateau. And I started what's doing is intermittent alternate day fasting. What that means is basically what it says is intermittent fasting for the 4-hour window. So I'm not eating for 20 hours. And then throwing in a day of complete fasting. So in essence, I wasn't eating for 40 hours. So today, for example, I'm on a fasting day. I ate yesterday from 2 till 7. 2 to 6, and that was my window, and I won't eat until tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I'll find that I'll be down 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, pound and a half by tomorrow morning. And I won't jump back up and stuff like that. So here I'm doing intermittent fasting, 20 hours, 1 full day of fasting. Now the question comes down and to you is, okay, so if I'm not fasting and I'm doing intermittent fasting, what do I consume? Well, the one thing you're going to consume is lots of water. But so here's how I start my day. I get up and I have coffee. I'll probably 1 to 2 cups of coffee. I'll make a small pot And the real trick is don't add cream, don't add anything to it. No sugars, no creams, just straight black coffee. If you add cream to that coffee, it's going to take you out of your fast, and it's going to take you out of burning. You're going to go into burning the dairy. Now, so that's my first thing that I eat. And the second thing that I'll drink. Second thing that I'll drink is after I finish the coffee, I'll usually wait, maybe have a glass of water, and then I'll have a nice big hot green tea. And that sort of takes me, depending on the time of day and what time I get up. But that's also really nice and filling. And then once the green tea's gone, I'll drink some more water. And about 2 in the afternoon, I'll have something that I've kind of gotten into, both in a good way and a bad way. And I'll make a nice big glass of water. And I'll add a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of apple cider vinegar, Bragg's apple cider, organic apple cider vinegar. Excuse me. A little bit of salt, sea salt, and a little bit of cream of tartar, which has got potassium in it, which gives you energy. And then I'll take a half a lemon, cut it in two, slice it, and then squeeze in the rest in the lemon into the water, and that gets into a big glass. Now, to be really honest with you, when I started doing this, I could sip this, but I found I know the apple cider vinegar helps, and it helps in the weight loss, but to be real honest with you, after a while, the apple cider vinegar didn't go down quite as easily. So now what I do is I make a big glass of this, and I drink it all at once, and one stop, all the way down. And so that way I don't taste it until it's finished. And I'll have that maybe once, maybe twice. Sometimes I'll have it after, like at 6 or 7 o'clock, before when I'm getting a little bit more hungry after dinner. And that, consuming that will fill me up. And then after that's gone, the rest of the day, all I drink is water. And so that's my fasting and my intermittent fasting morning until I eat. I'll do coffee first thing in the morning, then followed by green tea, followed by an apple cider vinegar, and late in the day, apple cider vinegar, water, salt, and a little bit of cream of tartar. And that's basically what I eat. And that has been incredibly successful in helping me to lose weight. 6 weeks, 22 pounds, and I have lots of energy. And I tried a longer fast. In the past, my longest fast was 21 days with nothing but water, cayenne pepper. This time around, I had a little bit of a harder time. Maybe it's because I'm older. And so I made sort of into 5 days and felt myself really, really low energy. And in fact, I went for a long walk on Fridays. I usually go for a long walk to another part of town. And on this day, I actually had to stop in one of the local grocery stores and buy some protein, some meat or something like that, so that I had the energy. But so I was watching one of Thomas DeLorean's videos, and he was kind of really, really suggesting that you don't go longer than 3 days. If you want to, sometimes I'll do more than the 1 day fast. I might make it 2, sometimes 3. I'm thinking tomorrow I might fast, depending. I have a goal for my weight by August 31st. Which I'm about halfway there, but I'm only 6 weeks into it, so I've still got another 260 days left. I've got 40 so far, and I'm down 22. So I got lots of time, but I really want to make sure that I hit this goal and I hit it on time. So sometimes I'll go 2 days or 3 day fast, just with, again, the coffee, the water, the apple cider vinegar, and stuff like that. But all I can tell you is the byproduct, as I mentioned, my blood pressure has come down to virtually normal. And that really only took 4 to 6 weeks for my blood pressure to return. And I'd been very concerned, especially with the pandemic that's going on, because of my age, because of my blood pressure. I really fit into the high risk category for that. If I caught the virus, there was a reasonable chance, or an elevated chance that I wouldn't survive. So by doing this, by doing the intermittent fasting, by doing the getting rid of the carbohydrates, by doing the coffee, by doing the intermittent fasting, and also the day fasting, my blood pressure's come right down, and I couldn't have picked a better time to do this. Now I got about another 20 pounds I want to lose. I want to get down to sort of where my university weight was, which was around 170. But if you go back again to my first video, you see again there's quite a different change. And sometime soon I'll strip down, because I took a picture at the beginning of how bad my beer belly, which a lot of it's half gone already. So again, but one thing to give you, because to give you a heads up, if I was you, if you're thinking of doing all this and you're overweight, especially if you're overweight a lot, go see a doctor first, do blood tests, get complete checkout on everything. Make sure that you're healthy and your heart's going to support you doing something that this is a little bit drastic. You can take longer period of time. It's a good video online about this woman. I think it's called Keto Rewind. She was a younger girl. She was 313 pounds, and she's doing the same thing: intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting. And she's gone from 313. I think the last video I saw, she was 170 something. And it's taken her about a year. And she's just same thing, intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting. And I'll tell you something, this really works. And you add the keto diet, you get rid of the carbohydrates, change how your body burns energy, get it into burning fat as opposed to burning sugar, and you're going to be successful. And that's really one of the top things to help you to turn your life around, and that's getting energy and getting rid of all the excess weight. You just think that if you're carrying 30, 40 pounds, it's like walking around with a suitcase or a huge backpack on your back full of rocks that you're having to carry around, that's putting stress on all your joints, on your knees, on your hips. It's making it harder for you to walk around. It's putting all this extra pressure on your heart and on just your whole body conditioning. So if you can get your weight down, it is an excellent place to start. And as I've shared, one of my biggest byproducts that came out of just doing this was how much it made a difference to my blood pressure. And that in itself, I am so grateful for, that I am so grateful for that I started this process, and I started this process of making a life change. And again, this whole thing, this whole channel, Viral Grey, is about you can change your life at any age. It doesn't matter if I'm 65. It doesn't matter whether I'm 40 or 20 or 30 or how old you are. If you start with your health, that's the best place to start. Everything else is, if your health is in place, everything else is going to be a lot easier to accomplish. So here's to you. I'll put some links into a couple of people that have helped me a lot: Thomas DeLorean, Dr. Steck Eckhart, and I hope I pronounced his name right. The latter has some great, he's an ex-Olympic athlete, and he's got some phenomenally really good detailed information on what's really happening inside of our bodies and how the difference between glucose and insulin burning and burning fat. So I'll be back to you in the next little bit and give you lots of new insights and things that are helping. And I'm here to support you. Leave comments. Subscribe if you feel compelled, and I'll just keep bringing you great content. And if there's anything you'd like me to share that could be beneficial, and here's for hoping getting through the coronavirus. Take care of your health. Respect the virus. We're humans are bad. We don't learn from history. And boy, if you read anything about Spanish flu, and God forbid that this keeps going like the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu came back with a vengeance in the fall. The springtime, like ours has been, wasn't all that bad, but it came back with a vengeance in the fall, and a vengeance. It killed 50 to 100 million people. So don't buy into this as just a low rate now, and it's not serious. It could be a lot more serious than people think it is. And just the big thing is really take care of your health and respect that. Take care of your family and your friends, and make sure everybody's safe. So God bless you, and I hope to see you soon. Take care now.